Hi guys, Josh here and welcome to Frames Per Second. Today we're shooting some Pro Image 100 on my Canon P, and I thought we'd shoot Pro Image 100 because my most popular video is the video we did with this versus Ektar, and so I thought it was time to bring it out again because I've shot a fair bit of Ektar on this channel, but those videos haven't done as well, so I'm guessing Pro Image might have been the reason. So we're going to shoot that. It's a nice 100 speed kind of Kodak Gold kind of film. It's based on the old Gold 100 that used to be a thing, but it's not made anymore. But we have this which basically replaces it. So we're gonna have some fun with that. It's a bright sunny day. We're on the Gold Coast, so let's go have some fun.
So today we're looking at the Canon P, which is a camera I've had for more than a year now. I think I got it June last year. And I haven't really dug into the camera yet. I've gone through the rolls, I've shot through it, but we haven't really looked at the camera itself. So that is what we're doing today. Now, it was first introduced into the market in 1959. It's a pretty basic camera, but it's a really good rangefinder, and it's got a really nice, big and bright rangefinder patch, which has frame lines for 100, 50, and 35. At the moment I have a Jupiter lens on it, so this is a 50, which is f2. I also have the Canon one that came with it, which was 1.8, but the original Canon lens had some lens separation, so a lot of the highlights were hazy and it wasn't always the sharpest, so this lens is a bit more reliable. But I do have a Voigtlander lens which I'm getting fixed, which is 35mm, and it will be sent to me soon, so I will have a sharper lens in a moment, but not yet. And so this is a fully manual camera. You don't need any batteries at all. Of course that means there's no light meter, but of course there's light meter apps on your phone which work perfectly fine, or you can do Sunny 16. I do both. I also have a proper handheld light meter, so there's plenty of ways to get the right exposure with this camera. And really it is just a really tough and reliable light tight box. And that's really all the bodies are. Of course it can be easier when there's autofocus or a light meter, but at the end of the day you just need a light tight box that is reliable with good shutter speeds and that you can get decent lenses on. So the shutter speeds of this camera go up to 1000, which is pretty standard. It's a really solid camera. Like, I've dropped this before and it still works perfectly fine. Like I said, the rangefinder patch is very nice and bright, and it's brighter than other patches I've seen in other cameras. It's 60 years old, it's pretty damn reliable, and anything that's kind of gone wrong with it has mostly been my error. But I will say with the rewinding lever, one of these screws did get a bit loose. It did make it a bit harder to kind of rewind, so I had to kind of take it out to rewind and then put it back in. So that's been the only thing I've had kind of go wrong with it. It is a predecessor to the Canon 7, which I have also got my hands on, so there will be a video on that and then a comparison video. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. If you don't want to get a Leica, like, or if you can't afford a Bessa, this is a pretty great camera. It's an LTM or M39 camera, so it just takes the screw mounts, which you can get plenty of Voigtlander and Leica lenses with this mount. But of course the Leica M mount is more popular and available now, of course more expensive as well. Of course there are some bells and whistles that do make the Leica a bit better, but if you just want a good reliable rangefinder that's tough as nails, this is a great camera for that. It's very limited features. It's got your frame counter, your shutter dial, and to switch from rewind mode to also shooting mode, but that's basically it. It does have mount to put a flash, but you need to have a sync cable for it because it's not a hot shoe. It also has a timed release, so so if you want to do some selfies with your friends, you can mount it on a tripod and do that. But yeah, it's basically just all you need out of a camera with no bells and whistles, and honestly it can be used for self-defense without harming the camera. So I highly recommend the Canon P if you can find one for a good price. I lucked out, got this for 250 Australian. It's going for a lot more now, and I was also able to talk the guy down to 200 because of the lens separation. So yeah, if you can still find it for a good price or with a good lens that doesn't have lens separation, then definitely jump on it, because it will outlast all of us. That's one reason why I definitely want to keep this, is because it is fully manual. You don't need any electronics in it, and so it will most likely outlast me as long as I look after it. The film performs really well. It is based on Kodak Gold 100, which used to be available in the past. I know a lot of my old family photos were shot on that stuff, and it is exactly the same thing. And yeah, like Kodak Gold, it renders the colors nice and warm, but also more vivid and saturated than Portra. Of course, not as much as Ecta. And then some nice shots I got here. Obviously, it's 2020, trying to keep my distance and not get as close. So there's some shots that I think would have been a bit nicer if I did get closer. I do have some frame blending here, and part of that was when I learnt that the screw was kind of loose on the, basically your rewind knob thing, which also is what turns when you advance your film. So it kept kind of jamming, so I rewound it, loaded it again, and because of that, yeah, these frames are kind of blended, so that's kind of why that happened. I do like these shots of these kids playing at this kind of rock pool by the beach. There's some really nice stuff when the sun's really hitting them directly, and I think that's just how I prefer most of my film. I like the front light, I like that direct sunlight really hitting, and it really does make the color pop a bit more, because there was a lot of cloud this day as well, which is why quite a few of the shots are a bit dull and flat. But when the sun came out, it really came out nicely. The sunset stuff is quite nice as well. And yeah, that was just random surfboard just chilling there. I don't know where the owner was, so I just took some shots of it. Though I prefer Kodak Gold just because you have that extra stop of light, and there's not much of a difference between the two films, at least in my opinion. So I'd go with Kodak Gold. I think they're basically the same price. Kodak Gold might even be a bit cheaper. So that's my thoughts on the Canon P. If you have one, let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I think it's a great camera and I highly recommend it. But also let me know your thoughts on the images in the comments below. And yeah, I'll get that Canon 7 episode out maybe in December, I think, just because I still need to run a couple of rolls through it. But yeah, I've been meaning to do this video for a long time, so it's finally out. I've had this camera for more than a year now, and I've finally done a video on it. So thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to like and subscribe, turn those post notifications so you know when there's a new episode. Anyway, I'm Josh. This has been Frames Per Second. Just get out there, shoot some film.